Good morning. This is Akashvani. I'm Anuja Kumar with the World News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to Sri Lankan President and assures him of continued support in rehabilitation after devastation by Cyclone Ditwa. Death toll in cyclonic storm rises to 390 in Sri Lanka, 352 people still missing. India invited to chair International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance at Stockholm in Sweden for the first time. Government issues directions for pre-installation of Sanchar Sathi app in mobile handsets manufactured or imported for use in India. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow today over peace plan to end war in Ukraine. And in hockey, India to take on Switzerland in final Group League match of FIH Junior Men's World Cup in Madurai, Tamil Nadu this evening. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephonic conversation with the President of Sri Lanka, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, yesterday and assured him India's continued support to Sri Lanka under the ongoing Operation Sagar Bandhu in providing rescue and relief to distressed persons. Mr. Modi assured that India, in line with its vision Mahasagar and its established position as the first responder, will continue to extend all necessary assistance in the coming days as Sri Lanka undertakes rehabilitation efforts, resumes public services and works towards restoring livelihoods across the impacted regions. During the conversation, President Dissanayake also conveyed his deep gratitude for India's assistance in the wake of the disaster and appreciated the swift deployment of rescue teams and relief materials. He also conveyed the appreciation of the people of Sri Lanka for India's timely and effective response efforts. India has intensified its humanitarian mission in Sri Lanka as island reels from the devastating impact of Cyclone Ditwa, which has triggered massive floods and landslides. Authorities now confirm 390 deaths and 352 people still missing, while rescue and relief efforts continue across hard-hit districts as access gradually improves. Under Operation Sagar Bandhu, India has expanded medical, rescue and logistics support, reinforcing its role as Sri Lanka's first responder. A C-130J aircraft brought around 10 tons of medical supplies, including Bhishma modular trauma cubes, alongside an IAF medical team. Meanwhile, INS Sukanya arrived at Trikonmali port in the eastern province and delivered 12 tons of essential relief for immediate distribution. More from our correspondent.
Rescue operations intensified across Sri Lanka as Indian teams worked alongside Sri Lankan authorities and forces. Indian Air Force Mi-17 helicopters evacuated 96 stranded people, including 3 critically injured survivors from flood-hit areas, while delivering over 5.5 tons of urgent rations and medical supplies to cut-off communities. On the ground, NDRF teams continued life-saving missions, pulling 43 people, among them infants, pregnant women and the elderly, from areas unreachable by road, with search efforts still underway. As major rivers threaten to overflow again, India's Operation Sagar Bandhu remains fully engaged, reinforcing responders and supporting Sri Lanka through its most perilous hours. Ahmed Moin Faruqi, Akashvani News, Colombo.
As Sri Lanka continues to deal with heavy flooding and destruction caused by Cyclone Ditwa, former Sri Lanka cricketer Angelo Matthews has expressed gratitude to India for the support. In a social media post, Matthews thanked the Indian Armed Forces for risking their lives to save people in Sri Lanka. Matthews said, all Sri Lankans truly appreciate the efforts. India has been invited for the first time to chair the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, that is, International IDEA. On behalf of India, the Chief Election Commissioner Ganesh Kumar will assume the chairship of International IDEA at Stockholm in Sweden tomorrow. Over India's chairship, Chief Election Commissioner Ganesh Kumar said that today the entire world knows and acknowledges the successful conduct of free, fair and transparent elections in India. He further said that it is a moment of great pride for all the citizens and election workers of India.
The entire world has recognized and acknowledged the successful conduct of free, fair and transparent elections in India, and for this reason a prestigious group of 37 democratic countries has invited India to the chairship of the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, International IDEA, for the first time in its 30-year history. This is a matter of immense pride for all citizens and election officials of India.
The government has issued directions for pre-installation of Sanchar Sathi app in mobile handsets to verify the genuineness of mobile handsets. More from our correspondent.
In order to safeguard the citizens from buying the non-genuine handsets, enabling easy reporting of suspect misuse of telecom resources and to increase effectiveness of the Sanchar Sathi initiative, Department of Telecommunications has directed the manufacturer and importers of mobile handsets to pre-install Sanchar Sathi mobile application on all mobile handsets manufactured or imported for use in India. The department has said that pre-installed Sanchar Sathi application should readily be visible and accessible to the end users at the time of first use or device setup. The functionalities of the application should not be disabled or restricted. The department also directed mobile handset manufacturers and importers to make efforts to push the app through software updates to devices that have already been manufactured and are in the sales channels in India. The department has asked the manufacturers to complete the implementation within 90 days and submit the report in 120 days. Shah Mishra, Akashvani News, Delhi.
This is Akashvani. You are listening to the World News. We bring you the top international news and updates from around the globe. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed concern over the health of Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Begum Khalida Zia and extended his prayers and wishes for her speedy recovery. In a social media post, Mr. Modi said the former Bangladesh Prime Minister has contributed to the country's public life for many years. Prime Minister Modi added that India stands ready to extend all possible support in whatever way it can. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff will meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow today as diplomacy intensifies over ending the war in Ukraine. Ahead of the trip, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that Washington is very optimistic about reaching an agreement.
I think the administration feels very optimistic. The president's entire team, including Special Envoy Witkoff and Secretary Rubio and the Vice President and the President himself, Secretary Hegseth as well, have been working so hard on this effort, and they all really want to see this war come to an end. They had very good talks with the Ukrainians in Florida, and now, of course, Special Envoy Witkoff is on his way to Russia. But we do feel quite good, and we're hopeful that this war can finally come to an end.
United Arab Emirates is celebrating its 54th National Day today. Eid al-Ittihad marks the historic unification of the Emirates in 1971 under the theme Spirit of the Union. We have a report.
Festivities are taking place across the country with the official ceremony in Al Ain being live-streamed. Celebrations include concerts, heritage exhibitions and fireworks at major landmarks, while the cultural events at Al Shindaga Museum and Hattawe Heritage Village highlight traditional Emirati customs alongside contemporary achievements. With a 4-day weekend, residents and citizens are participating in community activities, decorating homes and public spaces in the national colours. On the eve of celebration, Burj Khalifa was illuminated in national colours, adding to the atmosphere across Dubai's landmarks. In the lead up to the celebrations, the organizing committee released the official Eid al-Ittihad song for 54th National Day, titled We Take Pride in You, Our Homeland. The anthem reflects national pride, unity between people and the leadership, and the core values of peace, tolerance and harmony that have shaped UAE's development. Vinod Kumar for Akashvani News from Dubai.
In men's hockey, India will be up against Switzerland in the final Group League encounter ahead of the knockout stage at the FIH Junior Men's World Cup in Madurai, Tamil Nadu today at 8 p.m. And now, before we close, here are the highlights of the bulletin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to Sri Lankan President and assures him of continued support in rehabilitation after devastation by Cyclone Ditwa. Death toll in cyclonic storm rises to 390 in Sri Lanka, 352 people still missing. India invited to chair International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance at Stockholm in Sweden for the first time. Government issues directions for pre-installation of Sanchar Sathi app in mobile handsets manufactured or imported for use in India. US envoy Steve Witkoff to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow today over peace plan to end war in Ukraine. And in hockey, India to take on Switzerland in final group league match of FIA Junior Men's World Cup in Tamil Nadu this evening. And that is the end of this news bulletin.